Welcome. This is a quick look at a few waterways called Clean Water, Challenges in Technology Inspired by Clean by Stephen Johnson. But just a quick disclaimer about the photos and... Hi, I'm Daria. I've been an advocate for clean water and nature my whole life. This is me in 2014 kayaking in the Savannah River in Augusta, Georgia. Upon returning home, I started researching the Savannah River and began blogging about the toxins and pollutions in the water and in the air. That day I saw snakes and alligators and other wildlife, but something was wrong. I found out that the Savannah River site, known as the SRS, dumped radioactive waste all over the river, producing toxic and polluted groundwater runoff, making the Savannah River the third most toxic river in the country, with over 5 million pounds of waste dumped in 2010 alone. Modern technology did nothing to protect this sacred river and ecosystem, instead choosing federal nuclear contracts and profit over state and county clean water and water management systems. This is Steve Johnson, author and producer of How We Got to Now, a modern history explaining modern technology challenges and solutions. Clean is his first documentary examining historical water issues, historical and modern technologies. In this series, Steve poses the challenges: basic water cleanliness, modern water safety, drinking water, and chemicalized water treatments, and modern inventions or technology to solve them. Clean Episode 1. In Clean, Steve Johnson illustrates a history of modern technology. Clean examines some historical crises such as basic cleanliness of water, waterways, irrigation, basic human health and hygiene, disease, and chemical water cleaning systems. It looks at how technology, or the lack thereof, caused crisis and disease. And it looks at how technology solved basic and modern health problems and infrastructure. It begins the conversation of not only looking deeply into our modern world and the things around us, but to examine the history and the technology in our modern world. So this inspired me to look at water and the idea of clean in my own backyard. That is in my travels in the waterways, which means so much to me personally. This is Leesvania State Park in Dumfries, Virginia, part of the Chesapeake Bay Waterways, the Potomac River. I grew up playing in the backyard of my childhood house, in the natural creeks, and with neighborhood friends, playing with snakes, catching tadpoles, and climbing trees and tree houses. I always loved nature and water. How can we begin to analyze and add value within a personal or professional context? In our own backyards? This is the Chesapeake Bay, the largest United States estuary in the mid-Atlantic, leading into the Atlantic Ocean. Ancient river system spanning 6 states: Virginia, quote-unquote DC, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and New York, over 64,000 miles, with major rivers including the Shenandoah, the Rappahannock, the Potomac, the Susquehanna rivers. Challenges: pollution, stormwater runoff, animal waste, deforestation due to agriculture, and possibly overdevelopment of urban and suburban cities. Powell's Creek is part of the Chesapeake Bay Estuary Waterway System. Part of the Occoquan Bay flows into the Potomac River, leading into the Atlantic Ocean. I live throughout this region, knowing it like the back of my hand. Located in Prince William County, many creeks and local rivers need major cleanup initiatives because the local businesses pollute the water. Prince William Water purchases its water supply from the Fairfax Water Authority Company and gets its supply directly from the Occoquan, the Potomac, and other local rivers of this region. In 2011, I petitioned my neighborhood residents about safe piping chosen by a local utility company, which put its residents at harm with piping that caused cancers and other diseases. Nearby is the Occoquan River, part of the Occoquan Reservoir leading into the Chesapeake Bay. This is Lake Ridge, which houses the Occoquan River, and me getting some me time out in nature. where trails, runners, bikers, and boaters could follow paths, lay on man-made beaches, and go boating. The Occoquan River is actually owned by Fairfax Water Authority Company. Fairfax Water operates a dam which controls the water supply of a large part of northern Virginia, controlling not only water but fertility of the ecosystem. There are over 166 million gallons of water produced daily in northern Virginia. Take a trip with me across the Atlantic. This is the archaeological site of Tulum, Quintana Roo, Mexico. In the Caribbean Sea, much of the cenotes, or sacred wells, are underground sinkhole caves made of limestone, with fresh water and salt water. These caves have supposedly fresh and natural filtering systems, but the most comprehensive scientific study on the internet was published in 1998. Nevertheless, some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I grabbed my life jacket and threw my fear away as I swam and floated, meeting people from Costa Rica, Germany, and around the world. This is Templo del Dios del Viento in Tulum, off the Gulf of Mexico on the Caribbean Sea, west of the Atlantic Ocean. One of the regions I visited in 2018. Part of my genealogy and lineage traces back to the indigenous Caribbean Indians, so I'm partial to the waters of the islands, the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and of course the North American rivers, aside from islands like Guadeloupe and Bahamas. Circle up the Pacific Ocean on the west coast. This is Marine Drive in northeast Portland off the Columbia River Basin watershed, which the Snake River runs into. Before finding the Pacific Ocean, Portland has one of the most impressive waterway management systems I have ever seen on my travels. Why? The management systems include... Conclusion. Here's the part we get to ask questions, ponder, critically think about the challenges, and figure out simple solutions technology could add value interacting with our personal and professional lives or context, right? All right, here's one. Technology should add value and... Let's look at the dam situation I mentioned earlier. Here is the Snake River bordering Wyoming and Idaho, making its way into the Columbia River in Washington and Oregon. As great as Oregon is in managing their waterway systems, Snake River is a perfect example of the problems facing outdated technology and infrastructure, which pose a threat to wildlife but damage delicate and sacred ecosystems. Therefore, technology should again add value and solutions to our modern problems to help eliminate local and global climate crisis. Why? Man-made dams like these increase wildlife and ecosystem extinction, exacerbating global warming crises. New technology should therefore be used to provide generational solutions to ensure safe water and land alternatives. Removing outdated dams and restoring free-flowing rivers would allow restoration of healthy wildlife and the ecosystem. This is what I think. Technology isn't effective unless it's created for the greater common good. This is Daria, and thanks for watching.